Pokemon Scarlet may very well be the Pokemon game that has received the worst reception out of all the games Game Freak has released, or at least there was a lot of internet hate when it released, and for good reason. It's hard to forget the many mildly disturbing clips of glitches that populated the internet 2 seconds after release. As someone who has always loved Pokemon but only ever played Ruby and Sapphire and just recently finished Legends Arceus, I thought I'd share my experience with Pokemon Scarlet as someone with very few expectations as to what a Pokemon game should be. I did a blind run, so let's get into it. But before that, really quick, sharks. This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. If you don't know what a VPN is, then I guess you don't watch YouTube as much as I do, but basically, they let you mask your presence online. Surfshark even allows you to create an alternate ID that will replace your own personal information. For example, I can create a fake ID with this totally random name I came up with, and now this is what prying eyes will see me as. They even have an alert system that will notify you should your data be breached, and as a YouTuber who takes his privacy very seriously, having a feature like this is a very big deal. You can also use the VPN to access content from other countries when you're watching Netflix or other streaming platforms. So if a show you have been dying to watch is not available in your country, you can still watch it. And don't worry about buying multiple licenses for your devices because you can set up one account and use it on an unlimited number of devices, unlike certain other services I use daily. Another thing you can do is use the VPN to purchase cheaper plane tickets and hotels. But if you're not sure if it's for you, you can try it out risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee. And by using my promo code or the link in the description below, you can get an extra 4 months free with Surfshark VPN. Be sure to check them out, and thank you Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. The first thing of note is that the character creator is minimalistic at most. Wii character creator is superior to this. In fact, why don't they just port the Wii character creator into all Nintendo games? Every game is OG Wii Sports from here on out. A cutscene plays and some random red beast happens to crash somewhere. Boy, I sure wonder if that'll be important later. The very first thing I get to do in the game is receive a button prompt to stand from a chair. Truly the height of video games. My bed also has a sun-warmed scent. What does that even mean? Okay, I know I'm being very sarcastic so far, and that's going to continue. I don't know how else to interact with this game. Wow, I have such a limited camera control. This is all I can see. Let me guess, there's not actually a wall over... Yep, there's not actually a wall over here, so you won't let me look that way. Oh, you've really gone overboard with this one, Game Freak. Pushing the boundaries. The principal of my school arrives. Does this guy make a habit of visiting every student before school? I don't know. Oh, and I should also mention that I didn't pay a lick of attention to the story. Ever since starting this channel, I've gone out of my way to listen and pay attention to stories in games, and there's definitely been some games where I'm very glad I did, but I honestly do not care in the least for the story in any Pokemon game. I'm here to catch them all and to be the very best. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. That's all I'm here for. Why is there a Nintendo Switch console in the... And outside, I am introduced to the 3 starters. Wait, Coco, are you alright? You're just standing there. Menacingly. I found it kind of interesting because a little bit later there's a little cutscene that introduces each of the Pokemon. It's kind of a nice touch, giving them some personality that way, instead of only choosing based on looks. Quaxley stupid. Between the weed cat, the duck that reminds me of Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, and a fire reptile, I made the only correct decision. Yeah, I would not put the flaming dinosaur on your shoulder. First of all, he is way too heavy for that to happen. Second of all, if he sneezes, you're dead. Now Nimona here also chose a Pokemon, so she must be this game's rival. Well, guess we'll see how well I do against Quaxley. Wait, why did she choose the grass type? I thought the rival was supposed to choose the starter that was super effective against my starter. So do they just choose the easy Pokemon now? What are we? Children? What is this? A kid's game? What nonsense! And before I head out, I acquire a sandwich from Mom. I got a sandwich! Now I'm hungry. And at last, the game is beginning. These Pokemon are some real easy pickings. What the heck are these walking balls of yarn? They should burn. I want to burn them all. I have the fire type, and bugs and grass types are all over the place, so I slaughtered way more than I had the right to, but did catch a scatterbug and a fletchling. Fletching? Whatever, because you gotta catch the first bird Pokemon you come across. That's just a rule. Anyways, just down the path, the red beast from earlier can be found at the beach. Oh, so I die. All right, well, game over. Also, if you slow it down, you'll notice I first stop and then jump back up onto the phone. It doesn't catch me. I jump midair, grab it, and then fall. That's some real attention to detail right there. I'm a Jedi master. Of course, I give the beast my food because Mom's sandwich can heal all wounds. Chomp, nom, gom, nom. And you won't believe what I get to do now. I get to follow the Pokemon slowly. Riveting. It all comes to an end with us being attacked by Houndoom and... Houndoom? Is that the second form or the first one? One of the two. And the Pokemon is all like, oh, should I save him or not? And he decides to save me. What an emotional moment. Still have no idea what the heck we were doing in that cave in the first place, but we're out of it now. Local man Arvin stops by to help, I thought, but instead attacks a child with a squirrel. Just up the nearby tower, I'm told to look out at the beautiful scenery, and I'm afraid to say, that's not beautiful. It's kind of ugly. In fact, Legends Arceus looked much better, and that is my main point of comparison for me and Scarlet. Legends Arceus was a major step towards the Pokemon game I think most people dream of and have been waiting for over a decade. It still had its problems, but I saw some real promise. So playing the follow-up game had my hopes up high after what Legends Arceus had started, but Scarlet does it much worse. Apparently a lot of people didn't like Arceus from some of the discourse that I've seen only kind of recently, but I really enjoyed that game a lot. My only complaint is that the people would not shut up. You could play for a half hour, and for 29 of those minutes, you would be spamming the A button to get through dialogue, and Scarlet, well, it's not exactly any better. Back on the journey, there's one of those bug Pokemon kids, but he doesn't see and challenge me. In order to fight, I have to talk to him. Lame, I want these kids to be aggressive. Oh, he's already defeated. All right, that's fine. You're pathetic, kid. Now I have seen several of the Pokemon designs from this generation, and I'm not generally a fan of them, but I did see the new Wooper, and that one I do want. Woo! Yes, Wooper. This is also the place I discovered the whole auto-battling system. I stuck around this one spot for a long time, mostly because I wanted to catch a turtle I had seen earlier, but I continued playing with the auto-battling as I did. Wait, oh, you just killed it? Oh, it's just going around killing things. No, Fledgling! Fledgling's going on a rampage! Fledgling, no! Oh, routes! No, 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 no! No! Why did you kill the routes? No! Oh, there's another one. Okay, okay, okay. We're fine, we're fine. Yes, get the routes. You murderous bird. Oh, we're Fletchling. Kill your own kind. Get them, Fletchling. Go slaughter your kind. They're all over the place. Took way too long, but I did finally get the turtle. Time to get back to walking, I guess, and it doesn't take long for Nimona to challenge me to another fight where I learn you are now told what Pokemon the opponent is going to use next and are given the option to switch before that Pokemon is put into play. That was always a bit of a struggle in Ruby and Sapphire. Part of me loves that it has been added, although part of me also hates it because I can very easily switch to the most effective Pokemon without risking any damage at all. Although, as I'm unfamiliar with half or more of the Pokemon in the game, it actually didn't help that much because I didn't know what Pokemon was coming next, and so couldn't really put one out to counter it. I walk inside the school. City? What is this place? It's a city, but the school is a massive building on top of a big hill and the center of it all. I digress. This girl is being bullied, so I make the brave and bold decision to walk away. Oh, wait, what? Oh... I don't get a choice. I have to help her. I help the girl, and the gang is filled with a bunch of dorks, and my bug evolves as a result, and it's not a cocoon, which surprises me. That's what I'm used to from the middle form of bug types, but I don't know what this is. I slide my way up the stairs into the school and greet the many NPCs who are a bunch of nerds for actually going to school, while I'm going to be doing nothing but battling Pokemon for at least a week, become the champion, and retire at the ripe old age of whatever I am, but I was sure to talk to some of these very important individuals. Welcome. Yo, new kid. Looking for Nimona? Yes. If we exchange phone numbers, it's really getting serious. I do think I'm getting a little too violent, though. Give me the Ryu. Give it. Give me that little girl. I'm gonna take it from you. I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'm gonna snag your Ryu. Team Rocket style. Someone hacks my Rotom phone, and I don't care, and Nimona keeps showing up wherever I go. Wow, I am running into you a lot. You just cannot get enough of me. Did you just say something about a private room? Hold on, wait, this is all moving way too fast here, Nimona. Maybe check out your new, I just want to go catch Pokemon, leave me alone. This chick is stalking me. Time has really been flying by. Why? Lock the door, keep her out. This is very rude. You should at least knock first. At last, I escape the confines of public school upon my dinosaur motorcycle and get to exterminating the local ecosystem once more, since the auto-battler is kind of insane. This initial exploration is also when I learned that a lot of these Pokemon are the size of a single pixel and will pop in half a second before you run into them. Game Freak, what are you doing? This was never an issue in Legends Arceus. I can't tell you how many times I accidentally ran into Pokemon in this game, but never had the same issue in Legends. And it's obnoxious. The fairy type is something introduced after I stopped paying attention to Pokemon, and my Ralts happened to learn a fairy type move. The user does emotional damage to the Pokemon. I'm liking the fairy type. My free spirit was immediately hampered by the many sheer cliffs on all sides, and golly gee, I wonder if this game is trying to force me down a specific path or something. I ran into one of these crystals and did a, what is it called again? A Terra raid? It was kinda alright, but wasn't the most fun thing ever, and I ended up ignoring them when I saw them in favor of focusing on gyms and titans. Speaking of gyms, the bug one was the first one on the hit list, but I can't just waltz on in and fight the gym leader, and I don't get to fight some slightly weaker trainers beforehand either that would help me gauge the strength of the gym. No, instead, I get the olive roll minigame, where you're probably supposed to roll this olive between the established fence posts, but somehow I doubt a single person has ever done that because of how easy it is to push the olive over the barriers. Boy, I sure hope this minigame thing is not a recurring thing with all gyms. That would really suck. Now that I've proven myself as a Pokemon trainer by rolling an inflatable, or wait, is it inflatable? Is this a legit olive grown in a real farm? I don't know. Whatever it might be, now that I've proven myself as a trainer, I get to battle the boss because those two correlates. Bugs are obviously one of the weakest types around, and my fire crocodile melts the team with a little backup from Fletchling. And wait a minute, the final Mon sent out isn't a bug type? Wow, that really mixes things up. Now I can't just go into these gym battles with only one type advantage in mind, but have to be prepared for an unknown, and nope, she terrestrialized it into a bug. Okay, I win, but I don't get a badge, I get a picture with the gym leader, and that is so much less exciting than a shiny, coolly designed badge. Hey! This first gym, and I suppose most of the setup, has really made it quite clear that this is a kid's game. This wasn't made for longtime Pokemon fans. This was made for children in the hopes that they'd be the next generation of Pokemon fans, but when did companies decide kids have to have so much hand-holding? Wasn't it kids who fell in love with some of the busted mechanics and straight-up abuse in the earlier games? That's not to say that they can't make it a kid's game, it's just, it feels more aggressive. I wanted to go from here to the Alfornada gym. There's just one problem. There's a river in the way and I can't jump it. Where there isn't water, there's mountains, so dang, Scarlet really doesn't want you to forge your own path at all. But the funny thing is, I have been using the map to identify the next place I want to visit, and this has only resulted in more confusion because I assume I can make it there, but instead end up roaming the outskirts of towns and cities with no path. So even though I'm presumed the game is trying to lead me down an assigned direction, I instead ended up lost quite a bit because I had no idea which of these many directions was the one it wanted me to go down. And now, I mentioned just a second ago that this game was made for kids, but there's also quite a bit of laziness, I think. I have now been playing the game for no more than a few hours, with only maybe one of those hours being outside of the tutorial, and I'm already running into identical character models with, well, one minor difference. This one's beard is obviously fuller than the other ones, and I guess you could say that the original games reused a lot of sprites for trainers, but I don't know, something about being in a 3D environment makes the duplication feel wrong or out of place when it never fazed me in Ruby and Sapphire. Diving more into why that's the case is beyond the scope of this video, but I thought I would mention it as it did bug me throughout the game just how many duplicates there were. I came across my first Titan, a big old crab, and I'm going to make crab legs. He's taken down without a second thought. Inside is an herb supposedly responsible for the crab's gigantism, and Arvin thinks to use it to make a sandwich. And I do have to mention just how weird it is that everything in this game is sandwiches. Why sandwiches? Seriously, why? This generation is based on Spain or some sort of Hispanic culture, if I'm right. So why the heck is 99% of the food in this game bloody sandwiches? Worse yet, I never get to eat them because Coryodon, the big red dinosaur, demands to be fed. No, this is mine. Oh, nope, this is mine. No, I said no, this is mine. You can't tell me otherwise. This is mine. I want my sandwich, gosh darn it, this is mine! I'm forced to give him the sandwich and Coryodon gains the ability to sprint. Nice. Oh, and there's this secretive scene where Arvin's doing something. Ooh, he's trying to revive a sick dog of his, I don't care, Pokemon. The next gym is grass, and there's another gym test, hide and seek. Well, whoopity-doo. I have to find these sunflowers, but guess what? There aren't just the hide and seek flowers, but also wildflowers, and there's no difference in appearance. Worse yet, there are no clearly defined boundaries, and so I just walked around aimlessly hoping a sunflower would come into view, and even suspect that they did not place them in certain locations but actually spawned them in randomly. Maybe I'm wrong. This whole challenge was wonky, and the gym leader's Sudowoodo nearly swept my entire team. I swear every time a trainer has one of these trees, they're always super strong. Is Sudowoodo a particularly strong Pokemon or something? Am I missing it? It was after this gym that things got serious. I went to continue my journey and ran into a wild bird that nearly swept my entire team. Wild Pokemon don't typically do that. This seems like quite the strange power scaling, and so I ended up tossing out Crocalor to auto battle like crazy until I was able to grind a high enough level to manage the Pokemon in this region. Some of my Pokemon evolved from a result of this, and seeing Clodsire spikes poke out of him is mildly terrifying. My Turtle also evolved into a cool snapping tortoise or whatever and learned Rock Tomb, but I don't want Rock Tomb. I want a water move. All he's got is Water Gun. You're supposed to be my water type. What are you doing, you stupid turtle? This did mean I had two tanks though, Clodsire and a Water Turtle, and they are both pretty hefty, and so I went into this gang encampment and am still unsure as to how these work. Did these kids establish their own territories with borders within a sovereign country? Where's the military to put a stop to these terrorists? If they won't get involved, then gosh darn it, I will single-handedly sweep every single trainer on the inside by using auto-battling, but not with my whole team, you silly goose. Only the top 3, which I wasn't told beforehand, so I did not have the optimal setup of Pokemon for this, but it's fine. We got to the final boss, broke her car, and she went home crying. Talking, story, and at last, I've mashed the button enough to play the game again. The next area had water types, and I'm considering replacing my turtle. The dolphin didn't really interest me, but the Gyarados did. Get him, Pikachu. Oh wait, that's an auto battle. Whoops. I did some level grinding, thinking I had nothing overly effective against electric types, forgetting entirely I have Clodsire. Well, not forgetting I have him, more so forgetting he's not a water type. I keep thinking he's Quagsire with earth type moves, but that's not what he is. Before the gym, Nemona challenges me and she's pathetically weak. I guess I grinded more than I needed, but what happened to the classic rivals who were actually a threat? Like, come on, Nemona, she's pathetic. The gym leader also turns out to be one of the scum of the earth, a content creator. I don't remember signing any forms. I am a minor. You cannot just put me onto live television. I thought she was actually there in person. Wait, why am I looking at her there if she's not actually there in person? What is happening right now? This actually really annoyed me. I hate when games have characters who are streamers or content creators. They're always so obnoxious and it's just kind of weird. Maybe it's because they are always portrayed as these bizarre caricatures of streamers and creators, or maybe it's because when I'm in the game, I'm playing content, not watching content. It's like some sort of forced collaboration. I didn't ask for this, or maybe it's just because I have the soul of a boomer. Do you hate these kinds of characters in games? Am I just an old curmudgeon? I don't know. And if this is supposed to appeal to kids, I know like 90% of them want to be content creators, but let's not encourage them into this career choice. I do not wish this upon so many people. There's very few who can actually do this and lead a healthy life, and I'll let you judge whether or not I'm one of them. Anyways, I beat the gym leader and continued my journey. What is the deal with that elephant back there? I kind of like it. I kind of hate it, but I kind of like it. It looks kind of terrifying. I don't know if I want to kill it or catch it. I ended up catching it. There's also been these tumbleweeds blowing around, but turns out they aren't tumbleweeds. Oh, those are What? They're not atmosphere, they're an actual That's so dumb. I found the next titan, a big ol' earthworm who was easily taken down. Of course, there's another special plant, and I'm told to give it to Coryodon. Go, you want to give it after all? No, this is mine. Go, do you? Maybe you want to give your sandwich to Coryodon after all? Nope, this is mine. Maybe you want to give your sandwich to Coryodon after all? No, this is mine. You're not allowed to not give it to him. Arven gives his sandwich to his dog and it miraculously heals it, and I'm really confused. For some Mons, it makes them giant. Others are given special abilities like Coryodon, and others are healed from their, terminal illnesses. What the heck is this thing, and what does it actually do? If I eat it, will I become Superman? Can you guys believe that this kid's game might not be 100% consistent? I walk outside and, well, here's the reason I included the part about the elephant earlier. I found a shiny! This is the first shiny Pokemon I have ever found in my entire life! I caught it and I hate it. Why did that monstrosity have to be my very first shiny? Why? My Deerling was close to evolving, so I farmed Dugtrios a while with Auto Battler, but when it hit level 34, it didn't evolve. And that's the level the wiki is saying it evolves at, and it has me really confused. So I moved on to the next star base, which was by far the most painful of them all. I'm probably a little underleveled, but the battle literally took 20 minutes, with most of the battle being between my Clodsire and the dude's Starmobile. Clodsire hard carried by raising his special defense, but he kept missing his attack, so it ended up being a fight between a blind man and a man with 2 broken arms. It was awful, but I did eventually win. The Pokemon further down the path are a bit higher level, so I had to grind levels for a bit and caught an Axew in the meantime since he looked cool, and I replaced my Pikachu because Pikachu may be cute, but he's a bad Pokemon. I continued farming in this area and came to the realization as to why my Deerling hadn't evolved. See, there are real drawbacks to auto-battling. Pokemon will not evolve and they will not learn new moves, or at least it doesn't announce that they do. I was able to go back and teach them the moves they had previously quote learned, but the game had notified me about them, and basically this just meant I had to grind right before they'd evolve and then do a real battle for that final push off the edge. I don't remember this being mentioned anywhere, but I also have read next to nothing, so it's probably my fault. These are also some of the first mountains I had encountered, and I discovered fall damage is not a thing. Wait, we can just survive falls like that? Alright, let's go. Onto the next gym in I can't, where I'm supposed to learn a secret recipe to a restaurant, but all the trainers I was fighting gave me 0 information, so I used this real cool tool called Google to find the answer, since I don't give 2 craps about these pre-gym side quests. Thing is though, the gym is inside the restaurant and all these people were peacefully eating. Wow, I figured it out. Way to go. What the heck? What the What happened to all the people? What? They just killed them. They killed them all. Larry is the gym leader. He's got normal type Pokemon. He wasn't very difficult. Moving on to the icy mountains. Fall damage? What is fall damage? I found another star camp and just now realized there's 5 of them, which I guess makes sense. 5 points of a star, 5 leaders, you know. Problem is that this one is a bit out of my league, but no big deal. There's hordes of Golduck to murder. I also cut a Vaporeon. I love Vaporeon. She'll become important later. Well, mildly so. I invaded the camp and everything was running at half speed, which makes it some of the best gameplay and performance in gaming. The final boss shows up and I have my grass type deer up against the water type Azumarill, which I thought was great. But since I missed the whole addition of fairy typing into the game, I had no idea Azumarill had not only been given fairy type, but also had the ability to use a flying move that one-shot my deer. Gosh darn it, game. I ended up spamming Torch Song because that move is busted. The next gym had ghost types, but also rapping or whatever, and it nearly killed me with feelings of cringe, so I'm not saying anything else about it. Well, I will say I liked how this one was a little different, what with it being double battles. Only gym to actually mix things up. The next gym was right next door, and I did the skiing minigame that gives me real Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games nostalgia, and fight the ice gym leader, and considering my starter is a fire type, who can increase its own damage with every attack, this was nothing more than a blip on the radar. I grinded a little while to get the third former Haxorax, I think Haxorax. Why can't I pronounce anything? Just down these icy peaks was the 4th star base, where I finally ran into one of the game's legendary bugs. Well, I finally ran into the problem. It's going to happen eventually, right? Oh. Turns out this base might be a little out of my league, cause it's got a bunch of final form Pokemon and the leader has fighting types, which, as it would turn out, is effective in some capacity against just about every Pokemon on my team. Worse yet, turns out the vehicle also increases like all of its stats every turn, so unless you kill it real quick, he'll just buff to a stupid degree. I lost the first time, and the second time it took some real work, but I did beat the boss, relying heavily on my bird's acrobatics. Now this whole time, I thought the game had been scaling to my progression, which is nice. Well, at least it would have, but when I headed to the nearest gym, the water gym, before getting to it, and I guess scaling as a whole, I do have to figure out where the gym leader is, and he ran off to absolutely I don't know where. I'm told this guy is in a market, and I'm pretty sure they did mention a specific name of the location, but I don't see it anywhere on my map, and I don't know what qualifies as a market. The map has no name of the place, and I thought the market was in town because there was a bunch of shops there. Was I supposed to be exploring? Is it in the town or not? I don't know. I was quite lost for quite a while until I did some Googling to figure out where I was supposed to go. I have to assume I did something wrong. There's no way you're meant to wander aimlessly until randomly finding the market, right? Oh, I fought a Titan along the way, it doesn't matter. And when I did get to the market, the gym leader tells me, a young child, to gamble. Wait. Gambling? Gambling is the gym test? I mean, I guess an auction is a little different than gambling. It's different. It's different. Okay, I'll give him credit there. It is different. I win the gambling, auction, and then crushed Nimona once again for good measure. This opened the door to the boss, gym leader, where I learned that my assumption of power scaling was proven very wrong. Wait, what the? That wasn't supposed to one-shot him. Wait, what level are you, Mons? It's a level 20. You're kidding. It's level 29? So wait, does this mean that they don't scale? I thought they scaled. So, it would seem I am already more powerful than any remaining gyms or camps. This made the Dark Gang leader a joke, and now that all the gang leaders are down, it is revealed that the principal of the school is actually the ringleader. Wait, so you led... The principal of the school led several gangs that were often responsible for bullying. Am I the only one who smells fired. At least this guy was actually several levels above me, so I can't just steamroll the rest of the game. I lost, and I'm definitely going to need to grind and do some other stuff in the meantime. I decided to head to another gym, but it was on top of a mountain and there were no clear roads to the top, or at least none that I could see. Turns out that's because they go into caves and the road just disappears when it goes into a cave, but I didn't know this and ended up going all over the place around the mountain trying to find the gosh darn way to scale it. This had the unforeseen but happy side effect of finding Pokemon I hadn't encountered before, like Riolu. I still don't know how to pronounce that name. I just call it Riolu. I've never gotten to play with Lucario before, and so, even though I need to work on leveling him up, I want a Lucario, darn it. I replaced Dreadnought, he's kinda cool and all, but whatever. I then caught an electric poisonous toad that looked cool, and this is weird. Usually I don't change any of my team after like the 3rd gym or something, but now I've already replaced 2, and I wouldn't stop there. But before that, I had to kill a stork. Now it's time for everybody's favorite. Wow, we found a special thing, and I'm going to make a sandwich out of it. And I'm going to be like, no, I don't want to give motorcycle creature my sandwich, and it's going to go, and it's going to force me to give him my sandwich. So the path of the mountain was filled with Pokemon that I really like, and this sort of frustrates me. I wish I had run into this sooner. Oh well, I got a higher level yellow electric toad, which is different than the typical blue, and I thought it was a shiny, but not 2 minutes later, I found another one, and now I'm confused. Is this a shiny or not? At the top of the mountain, I finally settle on my final team. Guess I haven't really mentioned all the Pokemon on my team this video, and here's the final one I stuck with if you're curious and want to predict how I'll do. The minigame for the next gym reminded me of Bop It, and it may very well be the only gym side quest that actively filled me with rage that I had to do it. But before fighting the gym, I thought it might make sense to try and get some more levels because the new Pokemon I've acquired are not quite on tier. But how do I effectively grind levels? This is when I returned to Terra Raids that happen to give XP candy. I wish I could have purchased these things because I am loaded, and it's annoying you can't check the difficulty of a raid before running all the way over to it. But after taking down one, I figured my other mons were strong enough to take down the gym leader, and that'd give the other mons some XP, and sure enough, the 3 were more than enough to take down the gym leader. And so I farmed Terra Raids and got my Pokemon leveled up, and also one-shotted a bunch of high-level water types with my electric toad as I sought out the final Titan, the dragon type. Thing is though, I thought it had something to do with these electric stakes in the ground, but they never did anything, and I still have no idea what they're doing here. I ended up Googling once again, and learned that the way you fight the Dragon Titan is by encountering this random sushi on the ground, and I've been actively avoiding running into these things because they don't give hardly any XP, so why would I? This is so very dumb. I would never have found this thing without Googling because I have no reason to fight these Pokemon, nor to suspect I'd need to attack them to get the Titan. There was a Titan symbol on that island, but so many games have used that, and including Pokemon ones, to mean like a general area as opposed to a specific location. So for all I know, the Titan could be anywhere in this lake. Whatever, I took down the Titan who turned out to be a water type, not a dragon type, very disappointing, and then swept the principal. That made me feel good, but then Arvin's dog, which is all good now, by the way, swept my entire team immediately after. I was going to beat him before the Elite Four, but he crushed me so bad I went to the Elite Four instead. But I had to sit down for a quiz, and not only that, I actually failed the quiz? You're kidding. You want me to take some stupid interview with arbitrary questions just so I can fight the Elite Four at the Pokemon League? Why? That is the single stupidest thing in the world. I will not get over this. Why is the game requiring a knowledge test? Worse yet, it requires you remember the gym leader names and the type of Pokemon they used. I don't remember a single bloody name of anybody in this game. I had to look them all up for this video. I am just here to be the very best. Nobody said there's some required test. How about you and I step outside and I'll show you my answers. I Googled a solution, and you might be thinking, you need to stop Googling answers, but this game has not earned that courtesy, primarily because these gym tests. I am not going to entertain these things. I want them gone, and I want them gone now. I just about cleared the entire Elite Four on the first attempt. My entire team was healthy. I was on the very last Pokemon of the very last member, and then he spammed Glaive Rush and took down my entire team in a single shot. That is frustrating, but the thing is, it's kind of my fault. I had Lucario out, and an Ice Punch from him could have finished the battle, but I know Fairy-type moves are good against dragons, or at least that's what I've been told, so I wanted to try this move out, which I thought was called Healing Fist, figuring it was a fairy move that would heal me, like it would punch the bad guy and heal me. It would be great. It turns out it's actually called Heal Pulse, and it just heals the target. Doesn't do any damage, so Lucario got taken out, having done nothing, and none of the other Pokemon had an answer to Glaive Rush. The second attempt went much smoother. Oh, Lucario saves the day! I could have beat him easily the first time if I hadn't been curious and kept using Heal Pulse for no good reason. Of course, there's one more challenge after the Elite Four, and it was rather disappointing. Her Pokemon were not interesting. In fact, they were all quite boring and commonplace Pokemon I had run into a bunch of times before. The last one was a little different, and you can't actually find it, if I'm right, until post-game. And it also gave me a little bit of a run for my money, but I was able to beat her first try, which was a little anticlimactic. Huh, I guess I'm a champion. Sweet. Now I need to go back and kill that guy's dog. But before I could do that, Nimona challenges me in the middle of the city. She goes on and on and on and on and talks like she's ever come close to beating me in a single one of our previous engagements. She's always been one of the easiest opponents in the game, but this time she pushed me to the edge. A much more suitable final battle. Very good. And that just about wraps up the game. I beat Arven and then Penny, who I've been seeing periodically during the game. She hacked my phone and had something to do with the Star Gang. I don't care. She had evolutions. That's all I know. Scarlet does have endgame content too, in this place called Area Zero. It's got some new Pokemon and special variants of classic Pokemon. There's some term for them that I forgot. There's a whole plot line with Arven's mother who turns out to be dead, replaced by a robot trying to destroy the world or something. I don't know. I had checked out at this point. I really did go into this game wanting to love it. I want to make that clear. I didn't go into this wanting to hate it or speak down on it. I like Pokemon. I love Pokemon and the monster catcher genre as a whole. So I went into this with very friendly intentions, I guess. The campiness is fine, and I don't expect it to be hardcore. It's fine that it's made for kids, but expecting it to run properly and not look like blurry polygons most of the time should be a minimum for a game backed by Nintendo, and I grew up gaming on very cheap machines. I never understood those who complain about 30 frame per second caps, as it never bothered me, and I've enjoyed games with much worse performance, but often because I was trying to run a game that was too resource intensive for my computer, not a game played on its native console. I've always hated how Pokemon games have a million text boxes to click through, making half the game spamming the A button to get past dialogue I don't care about. I played a lot of Ruby and Sapphire on emulators, and part of the reason I played them was because I could speed up the game up to 30, 100 times, whatever it was, making the dialogue much more manageable. But after Arceus and Scarlet, I'm hesitant to play modern Pokemon games because the people will not shut up, and I do not care. I'd love an option to turn off all dialogue. I'd even be happy with a large glowing arrow over my head telling me where to go if that's what it takes. I just wanted to play with the Pokemon. I don't care about the story. And I'm not saying that the game has to be made without a story and dialogue. I'm sure there's plenty of people who really enjoy that. I just love an option to skip it. In the end, Legends Arceus was a massive step forwards to a promising future, but Scarlet is a massive leap back. With the release of Palworld, hopefully Game Freak and Nintendo will get their act together as the pressure of competition mounts, but I'm not convinced they actually will. I played Ruby and Sapphire more times than I can remember, but I do not think I'll ever return to Pokemon Scarlet. In the end, all technical issues aside, it just wasn't a fun game to play. If you did want a fun Pokemon-type game, then I'd recommend you try Cassette Beasts. It mixed up the Pokemon formula in several ways, and its story immediately captured my attention. It's also got a pretty nice soundtrack. If you don't mind spoilers, you can watch my video on it right here.